February 9th marks one of the most pivotal breaking points of the entire year, and if you're not ready for what's coming, you could find yourself swept up in an energetic storm that's been building for months. This isn't just another moon phase. This is the last quarter moon in Scorpio, a cosmic crisis point that's about to sever 3 specific ties that have been draining your life force. And here's what nobody's telling you. These breaks aren't optional. The universe has already made the decision for you. Something massive is shifting, and most people won't understand what's happening until it's already done. They'll wake up next week wondering why their entire reality just rearranged itself overnight. But you're going to see it coming. And if you've been feeling an unexplainable urge to walk away from something or someone lately, like your body is screaming at you to break free, but you can't explain why, keep watching. Because there's one specific astrological reason why this is happening to you right now, and I'll reveal it later, so stay tuned. But first, you need to understand why tomorrow is different from every other last quarter moon you've experienced, because what's happening on February 9th isn't just a monthly lunar cycle. It's a carefully orchestrated cosmic intervention designed to free you from 3 toxic patterns that have been holding you hostage. This isn't just another last quarter moon, it's a karmic deadline. Most people think the last quarter moon is just a winding down phase. The exciting part is over, right? The full moon came and went, and now we're just coasting toward the new moon. Wrong. The last quarter moon is the crisis phase. It's the moment when the universe forces you to make a choice. What stays and what goes. It's not gentle, it's not gradual, it's surgical. But here's where tomorrow gets intense. This last quarter moon is happening in Scorpio, the sign that governs death, rebirth, and everything hidden beneath the surface. Scorpio doesn't do surface-level healing. It goes straight for the wound, rips off the bandage, and extracts the poison whether you're ready or not. And the timing? It's no accident. We're standing between 2 massive cosmic events. Behind us, the full moon in Leo on February 1st illuminated exactly where you're not getting the love and recognition you deserve. Ahead of us, the solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th is opening a portal to an entirely new timeline, but before you can step through that portal, you have to cut the ropes tying you to the old one. Tomorrow is the cutting ceremony. The ties must break, and they will, violently if necessary. The first toxic tie, the golden handcuffs, are about to shatter. Let's talk about security, safety, that comfortable situation you've been clinging to even though it's slowly killing your soul. Maybe it's a relationship that looks perfect on paper but feels dead inside. Maybe it's a job that pays well but drains every ounce of your passion. Maybe it's a living situation that's fine but makes you feel trapped. Here's what's happening. On February 8th, literally the day before the last quarter moon, Venus and Uranus form an exact 90-degree square. This isn't just any aspect. This is the cosmic equivalent of a lightning bolt hitting a dam that's been holding back a flood of suppressed truth. Venus in Aquarius is screaming for freedom. It values autonomy, intellectual connection, and the ability to be yourself without restriction. Uranus in Taurus, it's the great disruptor of comfort zones, shaking the very foundation of what you thought was stable and secure. When these 2 collide tomorrow, something snaps. That voice in your head that's been whispering, "I can't afford to leave," suddenly gets drowned out by a louder truth. I can't afford to stay. And here's the part that's going to shock you. Uranus is sitting right on top of one of the most violent fixed stars in the entire sky, Algol, the demon star. Ancient astrologers called it the head of Medusa. It represents the moment when the suppressed feminine rage finally turns the oppressor to stone. This means the breaking of this toxic tie won't be polite, it won't be gradual. You're going to lose your head in the best possible way. You're going to act on impulse, on fury, on an overwhelming need to escape a situation that's been choking the life out of you. And when you do, there's no going back. The golden handcuffs? They're about to shatter into 1,000 pieces, and the freedom you've been too afraid to claim is going to feel like oxygen rushing into lungs that forgot how to breathe. The second toxic tie, the silence, is about to be broken. Now let's talk about something even more insidious than a dead relationship or a soul-crushing job. Let's talk about the lies you've been forced to swallow, the truth you've been told not to speak, the gaslighting that made you question your own sanity. On February 10th, one day after the last quarter moon, Mercury squares Black Moon Lilith, and if you don't understand what that means, let me translate. The voice you've been silencing is about to explode. Mercury is in Pisces right now, which means your intuition has been screaming at you for weeks. You know something is wrong. You can feel it in your gut, in your bones, in those 3 a.m. moments when you can't sleep because the truth is trying to claw its way out of your throat. But every time you try to speak up, you're met with confusion, with logic that doesn't add up, with someone telling you you're being too emotional or too sensitive. That ends tomorrow. Lilith in Sagittarius is the wild woman who refuses to be tamed by anyone's dogma. She's the heretic who speaks the truth even when it gets her exiled. And when she squares Mercury, she doesn't just nudge you to speak up, she forces the words out of your mouth. This is the toxic tie of intellectual domination. It's the relationship where your partner always has a logical explanation for why your feelings are invalid. It's the family system where questioning the narrative makes you the villain. It's the friendship where you're always walking on eggshells, carefully editing yourself to avoid upsetting the delicate balance. But here's what's about to happen. You're going to stop editing. You're going to stop performing. You're going to take off the costume you've been wearing to keep everyone else comfortable, and you're going to speak the raw, unvarnished, ugly truth. And yes, it's going to feel terrifying. Yes, people are going to be shocked. Yes, some relationships might not survive it. But the alternative, continuing to swallow the lies, continuing to doubt your own perception, continuing to silence the voice of your soul, that's the real death. The tie that's been keeping your mouth shut, it's about to snap. And when it does, the words that pour out might surprise even you. The third toxic tie, the martyr complex, is dying. This is the deepest one, the oldest one, the one that's been passed down through generations like a cursed inheritance. This is about codependency, self-sacrifice, the belief that your worth is determined by how much you can endure for others. Saturn has been in Pisces for almost 3 years now, and during that time you've been learning hard lessons about boundaries, about the difference between compassion and enabling, about the cost of losing yourself to save someone else. But now, Saturn is at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree, the absolute final moment before it moves into a completely different sign. On February 13th, just 4 days after the last quarter moon, Saturn enters Aries, and the shift from Pisces to Aries is one of the most drastic in the entire zodiac. Pisces is about dissolution, empathy, merging with others. Aries is about the self, the ego, raw survival instinct. Here's what this means for you. The universe is giving you a deadline. You have until February 13th to release whatever karmic contract has been keeping you tethered to someone else's drama, someone else's addiction, someone else's refusal to grow up and take responsibility for their own life. This is the toxic tie of the savior complex. It's the relationship where you're always the one fixing, always the one sacrificing, always the one bending yourself into impossible shapes to accommodate someone who never bends for you. It's the pattern where you mistake suffering for love, where you confuse martyrdom for virtue. And the reason this tie must break now is simple. Where you're going next requires you to be whole, to be sovereign, to be able to put on your own oxygen mask first. The fire horse energy of the Chinese New Year on February 17th is going to gallop forward at breakneck speed, and if you're still carrying dead weight, you won't be able to keep up. Saturn at 29 Pisces is the final exam. It's asking, have you learned that you cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved? Have you learned that your own life is just as important as everyone else's? Have you learned that sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is let go? The cosmic timer is running out, the karmic contract is expiring, and on February 9th, when that last quarter moon hits, your willingness to sacrifice yourself is going to evaporate like water in the desert. You're not going to want to carry this burden anymore, and that's when the tie breaks. When all 3 ties break at once, reality splits. Now here's where things get really intense. These three toxic ties aren't breaking one at a time in some gentle, manageable sequence. They're breaking simultaneously, all within a 5-day window. February 8th, 9th, 10th, 13th. It's like a cosmic demolition crew showed up and decided to take down every structure that was keeping you small. And this is why some people are going to feel like their entire world is falling apart this week, because in a way, it is. The relationship that looked stable yesterday suddenly feels unbearable. The truth you swallowed last month suddenly becomes impossible to keep down. The person you've been trying to save for years suddenly feels like an anchor dragging you to the bottom of the ocean. This isn't a breakdown. This is a breakthrough. But here's the part that makes tomorrow so crucial. The last quarter moon in Scorpio is the trigger. It's the moment when your emotional body catches up with what the cosmic forces have been arranging. It's when you feel the full weight of what needs to end. And Scorpio doesn't do denial. Scorpio doesn't do let's just wait and see. Scorpio looks directly at the wound, at the betrayal, at the toxicity, and says, this ends now. Remember when I said if you've been feeling an unexplainable urge to walk away from something lately? This is why. Your soul already knows what your conscious mind is still trying to rationalize. Your body is already preparing for the break. The restlessness, the irritability, the sense that you can't keep doing this for one more day, that's not weakness. That's your survival instinct kicking in. The Scorpio factor, why it has to hurt. Let's be honest about something. This isn't going to feel good, at least not at first, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, and true transformation always requires a death. Something has to die for something new to be born. The moon in Scorpio is in its fall, which means it's uncomfortable, intense, emotionally constipated. It's not the nurturing Cancer moon that wants to make everything soft and safe. It's the surgeon's scalpel cutting out the tumor, the forest fire clearing the underbrush, the snake shedding its skin in a process that looks violent from the outside. And here's what you need to understand. The pain is proof that it mattered. If these ties could be broken easily, they would have broken already. The fact that it hurts to let go tells you how deeply these patterns were embedded, how long they've been running, how much of your identity became wrapped up in them. But Scorpio also holds the promise of regeneration. The phoenix doesn't just burn, it rises from the ashes stronger than before. The venom doesn't just poison, it can be transmuted into medicine. The shadow doesn't just terrify, it contains the power you've been denying. So when you feel that pain tomorrow, when you feel that grief, when you feel that rage, don't run from it, don't numb it, don't spiritual bypass it with affirmations about how everything happens for a reason. Let yourself feel the full intensity of what's ending, because on the other side of that feeling is freedom. The Sabian symbol, the soldier who refuses orders. There's something eerily specific about the degree of this last quarter moon. At 20 degrees Scorpio, the Sabian symbol is, obeying his conscience, a soldier resists orders. Think about what that means. A soldier is someone who has sworn loyalty to a system, to a hierarchy, to a chain of command. They've taken an oath, they've made a commitment, and now they're being given orders that violate something deeper than any oath, their conscience. This is the moral imperative behind the breaks happening this week. These aren't just inconvenient relationships or annoying situations. These are soul violations. To stay would be to betray yourself at the deepest level. The order you're resisting might be coming from a partner who expects you to keep sacrificing. It might be coming from a family system that demands your silence. It might be coming from a society that tells you to stay small, stay safe, stay comfortable. But your conscience, that still small voice that's been getting louder every day, is telling you something different. It's telling you that compliance is complicity. It's telling you that to stay in this toxic dynamic is to abandon yourself. And so you resist, you refuse, you walk away. From the outside, it might look like rebellion. It might look like you're being selfish, reckless, or ungrateful. But from the inside, from the place of your soul's truth, it's an act of supreme integrity. The soldier in the Sabian symbol isn't resisting out of laziness or cowardice. They're resisting because the orders violate their deepest values. And that's exactly what you're doing when you break these toxic ties. You're choosing your soul over someone else's comfort. You're choosing your truth over someone else's narrative. You're choosing your life over a slow death of 1,000 compromises. What you need to do before tomorrow. Here's the truth. You can't stop this from happening. The cosmic forces are already in motion. The ties are already fraying. By tomorrow, they'll snap with or without your conscious participation. But what you can do is prepare yourself. You can create a container for this energy instead of letting it chaotically explode all over your life. First, get clear on what the 3 toxic ties are in your life. Where are you trading freedom for security? Where are you swallowing truth to keep the peace? Where are you martyring yourself for someone who doesn't appreciate it? Second, create space for the emotions. Tomorrow is going to bring up everything. Anger, grief, guilt, relief, terror, liberation, all of it mixed together in a confusing storm. Don't try to logic your way through it. Don't try to stay calm and collected. Let yourself feel. Third, trust the process. This isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. The universe doesn't rip things out of your hands unless it's preparing to give you something better. But your hands have to be empty first. And finally, remember that freedom always comes with a price. The price is the familiar, the comfortable, the known. But what you're buying with that price is your soul back, your voice back, your life back. Is it worth it? Only you can answer that. But deep down, you already know. The portal is opening, but only for those who break free. In just 1 week, on February 17th, the solar eclipse in Aquarius opens a portal to a completely new timeline. It's a rare opportunity to step into a version of your life that's been waiting for you. A version where you're not dimming your light, where you're not apologizing for your existence, where you're not carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. But here's the catch. You can't step through that portal while you're still tethered to the old timeline. You can't enter the new while you're clutching the old with both hands. That's why tomorrow is so critical. The last quarter moon in Scorpio is performing the necessary surgery. It's cutting the cords. It's severing the ties. It's creating the space for what's coming. The 3 toxic ties, the stagnant security, the enforced silence, the karmic martyrdom, they've been taking up space in your life, in your energy field, in your very identity. And as long as they're there, there's no room for the new opportunities, the new relationships, the new version of you that's trying to emerge. Tomorrow, the universe makes room, violently if necessary, painfully if required, but definitively, finally, completely. And when you wake up on February 10th, when the dust starts to settle, you're going to notice something strange. The weight you've been carrying, it's gone. The voice that was silenced, it's clear and strong. The pattern that felt impossible to break, it's just over. You won't be the same person you were before tomorrow. The ties that break don't just change your circumstances, they change you. They reveal who you are when you're not performing, not sacrificing, not silencing yourself to keep others comfortable. And that person, that free person, they're ready for the eclipse, they're ready for the new timeline, they're ready for a life that doesn't require constant compromise of the soul. The last quarter moon doesn't ask, it commands. Tomorrow at 8 in the morning, the moon reaches its exact last quarter phase in Scorpio, and in that moment, something shifts. Not just in the sky, but in you. You might feel it as a sudden clarity, a final straw, a moment where you realize you simply cannot continue down this path for one more day. That's not a breakdown. That's the cosmic alarm finally getting through to your conscious mind. Or you might feel it as a strange calm, a quiet knowing, a sense that the decision has already been made on a level deeper than thought. That's your soul recognizing that the ties are already broken, even if the external circumstances haven't caught up yet. Either way, something is ending tomorrow, and while endings always carry grief, they also carry possibility. They carry the promise of what can grow in the space that's been cleared. The toxic ties have been holding you back for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to move forward unencumbered. You've forgotten what it's like to speak without self-censorship. You've forgotten what it's like to live for yourself instead of for everyone else's expectations. Tomorrow, you remember. The last quarter moon in Scorpio doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't care if the timing feels convenient. It simply forces your freedom, whether you think you want it or not. And here's the beautiful, terrifying truth. Your soul already chose this. Long before tomorrow, long before this lifetime, your higher self knew that this breaking point was necessary. It marked February 9th, 2026, as the day you would finally say, enough. The ties break tomorrow. The freedom comes whether you're ready or not. The question isn't whether it will happen, it's whether you'll resist it or embrace it. And deep down, beneath all the fear and the grief and the uncertainty, you already know the answer. You're ready to be free. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. See you tomorrow for the next astrology update.